All right, guys, sentence structure. This one has a pretty big range. This topic does, ranging from like subject verb agreement to coordinating conjunctions. Direct object is a very common question, knowing what an idiom is, and some stuff with parts of speech as well. Let's go through a bunch of these here. Okay, I get my marker ready. All right, so this first one here, each of you are responsible for doing your chores. And let's assume that there was actually a period here, so you don't think that that's the mistake. But you get subject verb agreement, right? So we have subject, which is each, and a verb, which is are. Okay, and so if it's a singular subject, then we need a singular verb. Plural also needs plural verb. Okay, and so the rule here, even though it can be a little tricky, is each, everyone, and everybody are singular, and that means that they require singular verbs, which means that this should be is singular, are is plural. Right? So it should say each of you is responsible for doing your chores, even though a lot of people think that sounds wrong. That's the correct answer, though. So just remember, you need to make with subject verb agreement, singular match with singular, plural with plural. Okay, next one. Either be on time or pay the consequences. And they want to know, what is the word or? What would we call this thing? Okay, so we need to know the mnemonic fanboys. If you guys aren't familiar with that, need to know it, and that's for coordinating conjunctions. Okay, so that word or is a coordinating conjunction. And there are 7 of them that you need to know, and the mnemonic stands for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. Right? Those are the 7 words, the 7 coordinating conjunctions that you want to know. And what it's doing is it coordinates 2 or more clauses. Right? Either be on time is a clause, pay the consequences is another clause, or connects the 2. Okay, moving on to the next one. The sun rose over the clouds. Over the clouds is right, and then we want to know that the word over is a preposition, but over the clouds is a prepositional phrase. And so it would be very common that you would be asked, is like one answer choice would be preposition, one answer choice would be prepositional phrase. So prepositions, they all have to do with like time, space, direction, things like that. Over the clouds, obviously space. So that's prepositional phrase. It does show up a decent amount. Next one, last one on this page. He just showed up out of the blue is and we're looking at this phrase, right? Out of the blue. And that is an idiom. Idioms do show up. That is a pretty common question. So idiom is a word or phrase that shouldn't be taken literally. Like it didn't literally show up out of the blue. It's a phrase. As far as answer choices that tend to show up where idiom is the correct answer, certainly see personification quite a bit. And personification would just be assigning a quality of a person to a thing, something that wasn't a person. Okay, let's move on to the next page. Okay, I washed the floor in the kitchen yesterday, and this is a direct object question. What is the direct object in the previous sentence? This is pretty common. We definitely want to be familiar with direct object. And so a direct object receives the action done by the subject, right? The direct action. And so that would mean, so again, thinking it receives the action, right? The action was washing the floor. So the direct object is actually kitchen. Okay. And then next, we have some parts of speech that you want to make sure you're familiar with. Okay, so pronoun is a word that takes place of a common noun. So common examples of pronouns that we have listed here are like him, her, she, he, I, me, it, they. Really, so it keeps from being like such like repetitive types of writing, so you don't have to use like somebody's name every single time you're talking about them or every time you're talking about a group. Those pronouns. And then also knowing the difference between a proper noun and a common noun, with a proper noun referring to a specific person, place, or thing, while a common noun refers to a general person, place, or thing. And so the example that we have here, Stacie is a proper noun because that's a specific person, while the nouns woman and store are common nouns because they're general and not specific to a specific woman or a specific store. Okay, so all of those, so maybe things that you haven't thought about in a while. Okay, we'll keep going here. Todd and Ashley are coming to the party. They make everything fun. What is the word they? Right, so that just takes us right back to what we just talked about with pronouns, right? So rather than saying, again, Todd and Ashley make everything so fun, we use the word they. That's a pronoun. Jessica jogged slowly back to her house. What is the word slowly? Okay. An adverb will modify a verb, an adjective, or another verb. And if you're trying to if you're not sure, if you see the word ending in an ly, like we got here with slowly, right? When we see it end in ly, almost for sure on test is we will know that it's an adverb. And then finally, we also want to know adjectives. They describe the noun. Examples of adjectives that you can often find are beautiful, salty, smooth, loud, gigantic, and curved. Those are just some examples just to help you refamiliarize yourself with adjectives. And that gets us to the end of sentence structure. So as I said, there is a decent amount that is covered. It's all stuff that I think you probably have done before, and it's just refamiliarizing yourself with it. So again, we had adjectives, adverbs, pronouns, common noun versus proper noun, direct object. Direct object does show up a lot, so I would definitely make sure you're familiar with that. And then also idiom, prepositional phrase, and subject-verb agreement. So subject-verb agreement and direct object would be the two actually that I would focus on the most. They're the most likely to show up. I can't tell you for sure what type of question will be on the test. All of these I have seen many times, but if I was sort of trying to prioritize, is being really familiar with a subject-verb agreement would probably be first. Direct object would be second, and pretty much in the order that we did the stuff here. So like the stuff on the first page I would put as the stuff that tends to show up the most. All right, that's all we got for sentence structure.